Maybe that'll work. For some reason, it muted my mic. Should be good now. Let me know. Let me know if it's any good. For some reason, the system muted my mic. So it should be on now. People are still saying it's off, but it should be on. Let me know. Let me know if it's on now. I fixed it. I'm still getting notifications that it's not on, but I think it is on. Got sound. All right. I have no idea what happened. I didn't do anything. But I was telling a story, and the story was this. It was about 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago. It was beautiful out, blue skies. I mean, 93 degrees, a little bit humid because we had some rain last night. And I came down here and got the power hooked up, got things going, got a little fan blowing on me. And then just out of the blue, I had a little rain squall. And then now, so I can show it to you. Now, this was a few minutes ago. I'm not the little where it says I am. I'm actually north of there. I'm north of the highway, but I'm like right on the edge of this red squall that's going through. If you probably be able to hear it here in a minute because it's just about to hit. So it shouldn't be a problem, but I could get some heavy rain in the next minute or two. And there's still blue skies out there. It's weird. So that little thing's going on. And there were big drops. They were big drops. So I don't, everybody's experienced a rainstorm while the skies are blue, but it's always just kind of weird. So that's what's going on. Hey, everybody. As I said before when I was muted, my name is Michael Bunker. This is the Michael Bunker Nation Show. I'm glad you all could be here. Come on in. Hit the like button. Come into the comment section and type in where you are and what's going on. And I'm going to be your host for the evening. I don't really have a topic picked. My problem today is I had so many topics. And I'm always a little self-conscious that I'm being too negative. That rather than just helping people, which is what I'm here for, I'm actually spending a lot of time being angry. And so I don't want to be angry. I don't mind talking about anything you guys want to talk about. That's what I'm here for. So what I thought I would do is I would do like yesterday and open up the floor. Of course, there are things I could talk about, and I have a list of things here that I want to talk about a little bit that are just things that are going on. But I didn't want to get on here and do a bunch of rants because I had so many things to rant about. So many things. And with what's going on in the world and the election coming up and everything else, so much stuff to rant. And people are so stupid. I don't know if you got any rain last night, Frank. We got one right about midnight 30. Pretty good downpour. It didn't make the ground wet very much. And then today I got up at 3:30, 4 o'clock. I was driving to Coleman, got to Coleman, started working out in the gym, and a big rainstorm went through Coleman, but it didn't touch us out here. When I got back home, we were still dry. So we've had a few little sprinkling squalls go through, which is what's happening now, but not enough. Hello, Peggy Sue Martinez from Florida. Hello, Georgiana, Ethan, Daniel, Jimmy. You don't know much about me except that you've lost a bunch of weight. Do you mind telling me about your background? Hey, boy, how much time do you have? Yeah, I can do a quick rundown. People in the comment section who have been following me some 20 years could probably tell you more because I will miss more. I am an author and USA Today best-selling author. I wrote a book that's being made into a major motion picture. If I was prepared better, this is going to hurt because my shoulder is a little bit sore. I wrote a book called Pennsylvania, which is a fiction novel, which is being made into a major motion picture with Patrick Tatopoulos, the production designer for Justice League and a million other big blockbuster movies, who's going to be the director of the movie. But before that, I did a lot of things. I traveled for many years on a speaking circuit, preaching and teaching. I talked about government largesse, government overreach, in 45 states and 3 continents. And everything that's going on right now, I was talking about 20 years ago, and everybody who's on here who knows me, who's still around, knows it. And they can give their own testimonies right now. A lot of stuff that I was talking about that was in the works 20, 25 years ago, we're just now seeing. In fact, today, as I was pulling, it's raining now, so I'm going to talk a little bit louder. As I was pulling through the gate, I was listening to the Kim Commando show on the radio. And she was talking about the Talon system, which they're now employing. This is not a conspiracy show. This is a technology show that's on 420 radio stations in the country and 172 countries. And she was talking about the system that they're putting into all the big cities where they automatically scan all the license plates and they do a background check on everything else on you with no probable cause. And she actually got into the story about a couple in Colorado who ended up getting surrounded by the cops with guns drawn, and it turned out that the system had made a mistake, misidentified them. I was talking about that 25 years ago, and people were calling me a conspiracy theorist. And at the time, on record, told people the only thing stopping them from doing it is, number one, we don't have the bandwidth available. At that time, 20 years ago, even the concept of having the bandwidth to do most of what they wanted to do, most people thought was impossible. And so the second thing is that you have to have a crisis big enough that you can kind of cover that stuff up. And so I'll let you decide what you want to think about that. If that was going on 20 years ago, I started writing nonfiction. I wrote several books about the state of the church, about I wrote commentaries entirely about preached all over the country and all over the world. And in 2009, The Last Pilgrims, and I didn't write it because I was like, oh, I can't wait to write fiction. I was just trying to communicate with people. And so this book was basically about what would happen, what would life be like 25 years after a systemic collapse, apocalyptic kind of world, and what would life be like here in Central Texas 25 years later. This book did so well that I wrote a epic novel with my friend Chris Awalt called Wick, which actually goes through the actual collapse, and it is very, very, very eerily similar to a lot of things that are going on right now. So in 2014, I wrote a novel called Pennsylvania, which is about a Amish, 18-year-old Amish young man who signs up to go to become a colonist for a foreign, for a planet, for another planet. Basically, I took the story of the Amish coming to the United States on boats, which would have been a very sci-fi thing to do back then if you were Amish, and I have this young man going to another planet. And then a lot of things happen. And one of the big elements of the Pennsylvania novel is the banning of private transport, the takeover of government by the elements of transport law, and banning of things like sports. So there are no big sporting events and all those type of things. And so in 2015, November 5th, 2015, sold the film option to Pennsylvania, and it's been re-upped every year. And we were actually really, really close to starting production on Pennsylvania when the pandemic hit. So things are still moving. They're doing casting and other things like that right now. In addition to that, I have been doing these videos since 2009, not as often as I'm doing them now. Mostly just to try to help people. I'm a preparedness expert, a survival expert. I've been teaching preparedness and survival for 20 years. Hot weather survival, cold weather survival. I've lived off-grid, completely off-grid, beyond off-grid. I even forgot some things. I've written about 20 books. I've actually written more than that, but that's how many I've published. Hold on a second. In 2009, I wrote this nonfiction book, Surviving Off-Grid. There's supposed to be 2 offs because it's not just off-grid. Off-grid means you don't even use electrical power or anything like that. You don't use solar power. You don't use off-grid power, and that's the way we live. I'm in my office right now. In my office, I have some small-scale solar and batteries. I've got a light here that charges my laptop and runs my internet. I'm about 700 feet or so from our cottage. In our cottage, in our farm, we don't even have off-grid power. We use some batteries for fans that we charge down here at the office, but that's it. Hello, Scott. Hello, Daniel. So, and he said, Daniel said the video is a little choppy because of the rain. It should be blowing through. I think it's about done. So I teach preparedness and survival off-grid living, which I've done for 15 years. And right thinking, I'm a logician. I teach logic and reason. There's not a whole lot of stuff I don't do. So thank you for asking, Jimmy. I hope that helps. I'm also a really, really bad guy. I'm a cult leader. I eat horses. I'm abusive to women. Just do a Google search. You'll find all sorts of things about me that couldn't even possibly be true because half of them are even contradictory. Thank you, Amy, for ordering the short story anthology. I absolutely know that you're going to love it. That's actually pretty ironic, funny. I'm just a regular family man that had no interest in politics until I happened to hear George W. Bush utter New World Order. It was beginning my political awakening, and it's been an ongoing nightmare. I have happily pulled the lever for Trump. Don't talk politics here, so we'll just skip that. It seems like judgment is upon us, possibly. It seems you've enjoyed a very interesting life. God bless. Well, thank you. Peace to you, too. Tell him why I lost the weight. Oh, okay. Well, there's a lot of reasons why I lost the weight. I was tremendously unhealthy. I was talking to my daughter just a little while ago, and she said, Dad, you weren't obese. And I was morbidly obese. I was a big guy, so it wasn't as noticeable, but I was 278 pounds at my peak. So there was a lot of reasons that I lost the weight. Primarily, though, the trigger that got me to start losing the weight was the opportunity to be in the movie Pennsylvania. I'm not guaranteed a part in the movie, but they have said that I'll be able to audition for a few parts. I wrote one of the characters in the book, Goa Eagles, was based on me. So that was the character I would like to play, and I wrote him for that reason. And so I was reading the script, the last script, and that was on around January 7th. And it said that the two characters that I possibly would be able to play are both fit and heavily muscled. And so I realized that was not me. And if I was going to actually audition for them, I wanted to look the part. And so I started a pretty radical fitness plan in January, and I have lost over 102 pounds. And I'm fitter now, and I'm getting fitter every day, Lord willing. All right, so if anybody has any questions or comments, put them in the comment section. That was my some of you may not have known. And a lot of people aren't going to watch this video because there's like 2 minutes of me talking but no audio at the beginning of it. If you're watching now, though, I appreciate it. If you're one of the future people that's going to be watching this in the future, I appreciate you too. There are some things we need to do together. We have 1,825 subscribers. I say that, but every time I open my mouth, I lose subscribers. And we need about 2,000 the experts say that when you get about 2,000, that things start trying to multiply because YouTube will recommend your videos to more people. So we need about 175 more subscribers. And there's some things you can do to help. You can hit the like button on YouTube. I don't care if you do it on Facebook. For those of you who don't know, we're broadcasting on YouTube on free Facebook channels and on Periscope. So you can hit the like button, subscribe. Subscribe's a big deal. We need as many subscribers as we can get. I need you guys to go out and recruit subscribers. We need to get past that 2,000 mark. And then you can also leave a comment on YouTube after the video's over. We really need that. So those are things you can do to help. And I appreciate all you guys being here. The other thing you can do is participate. Come into the comment section. Don't worry about social distancing. Just squeeze on in here. Everybody push in. And then just type things into the comment section. I'll respond to you. I may not like it. I don't care. I'm a little bit abrupt sometimes. That's just what you get. Sometimes I can be rude and insulting. That's just what you get. It's just part of the sense of humor. Irony is my thing. Thank you, Peggy Sue Martinez. I appreciate it. By the way, I love the name Peggy Sue. Don't know if it's true. It could be anecdotal or it could be just legend. But I'm from Lubbock, Texas, where Buddy Holly's from. And my aunt, great aunt, second aunt, great aunt, I think, was named Peggy Sue. And there was some talk that she might have been the Peggy Sue that he wrote about. I think the original song was Mary Lou. And then there's another Peggy Sue that the media has always said was her. But there's some people in the family that thought that maybe she was Peggy Sue. Anyways, one of my favorite movies of all time, because I'm a time travel writer, is Peggy Sue Got Married. So I like your name. Watched a video of two opposing factions protesting in Portland, and it looked like nothing more than a war of scary outfits from head to toe and cell phone recording. It was ridiculous. So you got about 90% of the people are just there recording on their cell phone. And then you got the war of crazy outfits. Thank goodness it is peaceful where we live. Absolutely. Things are going to get worse. I can tell you that. And I didn't tell you, Jimmy, that actually certified to be right about 99.5% of the time. Peggy Sue Lee, that's a great Southern name. Anyways, I have been saying things for 20 years, and there's a lot of people that have been here for 20 years listening to me. And some of those things have been, and a lot of you just been listening since March, have been scarily Cognition. Prescient would be the word. And so a lot of the things that are going on right now. In fact, I was sitting down the other day and I was thinking, you know, if it wasn't so irritating for people to say, I told you so, I would do a show where I merely listed things that I've said were going to happen and then what actually happened and when. But it would go on for way too long. I try not to do more than 45 or 50 minutes. All right, if you guys have questions or comments, I have some things. Hey, by the way, I've got a new book out. Some of you know about it. I got to hit the thing. I'm really bad at this, like controlling the thing. Where is it? Did I delete it? There it is. God in the Storm is now available. Don't worry about going to godinthestorm.com unless you absolutely want to. But I wanted to tell you that God in the Storm is now available on Amazon in ebook, paperback, and hardback. A little bit about the book. It is a true story, though it is a fiction novel, about my co-writer, Sean Sofek-Tuin, who he and his family, he was a baby at the time, escaped the killing fields in Cambodia in the 1970s. And it's their story. I was blessed to be asked to write it with Sean, and it is getting magnificent reviews. There is a very plain and open and not hidden comparison in the book that runs throughout the whole book. In fact, it's on the cover of the Khmer Rouge with Antifa, which is eventually at some point going to make this book somewhat controversial. But the book's out right now. You can actually get hardbacks on Amazon.com right now. You can also get them at godinthestorm.com. And so at some point, I want to do a show where I talk a little bit about the story. I want to have Sean on, and I want to interview him. You haven't done your boxing. I haven't done the boxing. I got to do the boxing. You're supposed to do it at the beginning, but I'm going to do it right now. Whenever I do the box thing, I should come back. I should be eating an apple or a banana or something. So now you have the box. The box has been done. I forget. Everybody, every single one of you who appreciates the content, hit the like button, even if you're a future person, and make sure you leave a comment after the show is over. Canned meats were mostly chicken and tuna. Well, that I have to scan up because I missed the first one. Went to the store today. Interesting what is and isn't on the shelf. The funny one was not a single paper towel on the shelf, but plenty of TP. It's strange. I was at the store myself today, and there are some weird things. One thing I've noticed, first of all, canning lids are the new toilet paper. And I'm going to say that, and you're all going to want to go out and buy some, because you are going to want to go out and buy some. If you don't have canning jars and canning lids, you better get them, because you ain't going to get them after mid-September. Just not going to happen. Not only are the regular people who are out there finishing out their crops and canning stuff and canning meat for the winter going to be buying them, but you can't find them. I started telling people you ought to buy canning jars and canning lids in March, in April. And the other thing was that a lot of things like they did have some of the dried meat that we were talking about yesterday, but things like pepperoni and more commercially, industrially produced foods like that were gone. I mean, there's not really anything to buy. And I also noticed that they were having a massive sale on some types of toilet paper, but a lot of the other paper products were not available. Love to hear Mr. Tuen speak about his experience with you. Yes, and his experience would be mostly him interviewing his parents, if you've read the book. He was just a baby. He was 6 months old when they escaped, but he's been in it. He actually spent first 3 years of his life in a camp in Thailand. And then, grew up, of course, with the stories, and then interviewed his father for the book. So I think it'd be great to have him on to talk about the Cambodian community, which is an important block right now with the election coming up. I don't get into politics, but it's part of the story. And the fact, the comparisons between the Khmer Rouge, their indoctrination camps, and what's going on with Antifa, the things that they said, which are obviously paralleled plainly, not hidden in the book. So I think I'm going to try to get Sean on. I'm still trying to get Garrett Bradford. By the way, Garrett Bradford, his song, This Way of Life, which he was played on Yellowstone on Sunday's episode, went up to number 34 last time I saw it on the iTunes country music chart. So he's doing really, really good. He's not COVID. I do that as a joke. It's a joke for me. Not only is it not COVID when I cough, but when I cough and I happen to be in public, it's usually an allergy reaction or I swallow water the wrong way. I yell COVID. I don't do that. But it would be funny if I did. So I do it in my head, and then when I do it and I'm on the show, I say not COVID. But that's my first guest ever. I used to have a radio show. I used to have, a pretty big online. I did shortwave. Never had guests because I've never needed them. Don't need them now. But I'm interested in people. And so if I'm interested in them, then I think you might be interested. All right, I'm sitting here waiting for your questions and comments. What's next on my list? All right, if you have read God in the Storm, if you've already read it, if you read it on ebook, if you're reading it on paperback, hardbacks have not gone out yet, but every one of you who ordered a signed hardback, you're going to be getting a paperback in the mail for free. Our apology for it being late. And then you will get the hardbacks as soon as they're available. They were delayed. But if you've read the book already, I'm asking you, I'm begging you, I'm imploring you on bended knee, metaphorically, to go to Amazon.com and leave a review. And do it now. Not now, as soon as the show is over. And then do it. All right. And so I already mentioned hardbacks are not now available, so you can get hardback copies. You're going to want to put this in your library. You're going to want your children to read. Absolutely, you're going to want your children to read it because they need to know what's going on. And when they see these black-clad protesters in their pajamas running around with helmets on and beating old ladies and pulling people out of their trucks and beating them because the state doesn't allow those people to defend themselves, then you're going to want to be able to hand this book to your children so they can look and see where inevitably this leads if it's not stopped dead in its tracks. All right, and so we're going to have a big launch of the book. A huge launch of God in the Storm coming up in the next month or two. I'll give you guys more details when it happens. We basically put the book out there at the standard price to establish the price stability and all that. And then we're going to be doing a big sale and a big launch coming up in about 30 or 60 days. What next month? We talked a little bit about Pennsylvania being made into a movie. The movie's called New Pennsylvania. And things are moving along. Like I said, they're working on casting. They're working on still working on the script, doing storyboards, and we're hoping that thing's going to get moving. But everything in Hollywood's really kind of slow crawling at the moment. I'm filling right now. I'm waiting for your questions and comments. We can talk about anything. If you heard my resume a little while ago, there are a lot of things I can talk about. So talk about whatever you want to talk about. I got me a. This says Gatorade Zero, but that's not what it is. This is water with some, I don't know, Weiler's lemonade powder. Oh, delicious. All right. What's going on in the ranch? My lovely wife, Danielle, will be back home from the front lines of COVID, where she's been working in a lab in the Dallas area. She'll be back, Lord willing, for good on Friday. This coming Friday, and I could not be happier about that. And we're going to be working on the house. We're going to be working on a house. It's a cottage, doing some improvements and making it more amenable to our increasing old age, rapidly increasing old age. God in the Storm looks super interesting. I think you absolutely are going to be not only interesting, I think you're going to be fascinating. Definitely read the reviews. The reviews are off the charts. Mandatory reading, they say. I'm going to check the weather here real quick. Refresh. And then I think I can go in here and I can do this as it refreshes and let you know what I'm seeing. Oh, okay, let me zoom in on this. It's a little too far away. That little mark that says where I am, that's not where I am. I'm a little north of there. But it looks like the storm is past us. Got a little bit of green up here, but this is all moving south. So I think we're in good shape. That's been your weather report. You get everything on this show. You get everything. You can ask a question about anything. You can ask a question about anything you want to. Close encounters, UFOs, was that on talk about? Because I don't know nothing about. Everything's unidentified to me. I'm not an expert. You're interested in some people. All is a bit of a stretch. I'm interested in interesting people. Let's put it that way. I am not at all interested in most people. I am very interested in interesting people. So anyways, I'm here for you. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. I mean, within reason. Some things I generally don't want to talk about. Look like Garrett Bradford just liked my video. Maybe he's watching it. If you're out there, Garrett, let us know because we want to get you on the show. It's what I've been promising the audience is that I was going to get. You're going to be my first guest ever. So it looked like he just liked this video. I'm telling tales on him. He's probably walking around on cloud nine. I remember after I signed the deal with the production company to make a movie out of my book, little old me out here living off grid in Central Texas, no one ever heard of, and I was walking around cloud nine. You know, everybody's talking about you're a star and all this kind of stuff. My life hasn't changed much, but it was cool, and it is cool. It's still cool, and so I know he's got to be pleased as punch. And so we want to talk to him. I love indies. I love people that are doing it. I love people that are out there making art. I got my Kayla Ray hat on, who I think is probably one of the best country singers of our time. She's old school. She's an old school style country singer. She got a brand new song out as well that's really, really good that she's done in the quarantine. All right, y'all, we're running out of me blabbering. What else did I have here on my list? What's going on in the ranch? We're down to one pig, but we're still canning a lot of pork. We got another pig coming back from the butcher this week. The fundraiser is going on. If you haven't seen the fundraiser, you should. Why do we do a fundraiser? Well, because I do all this stuff for free. Everything pretty much I do, except for the books, are for free. But I give away books for free too. Tons of them. Millions of them. And so because I do all of this and I spend hours here and I do preparation and I read books and I study and I answer questions, and 90% of what I do is not on the radio show. I'm answering emails. People are asking me, what's the best way to can pickles? How do you start a fire when everything's wet? And questions like that. And so I get emails, I get messages, I get private messages, I get all kinds of stuff. And then I also do 2 to 3 videos a week. I'm doing the fitness videos, which are also free. I do my regular entertainment, which is on social media, facebook.com/Offgrid. And so I'm doing all this stuff, and I do it for free, just with the hope that if you like it, if it's something that you find beneficial, then you might want to invest in art. And so you can go to michaelbunker.com/fundraiser, or you can just go to facebook.com/Offgrid. Anyways, you can find it. And we're doing a fundraiser, and we're trying to raise enough money that we can get a bunch of things done for the show. I'm trying to expand into some more markets, some more platforms, let's say. Expand the YouTube show and all that sort of thing. So the fundraiser is going on. I will probably blow up if the movie's successful. If the movie's successful, I may not want to. I may want to disappear if the movie's successful. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think I'm going to blow up no matter what. You can't be as right as I've been for as long as I've been and not have people finally and eventually figure it out. Well, you had yourself a hidden gem. You got somebody that's been telling things and saying things publicly, recorded for 20 years that have turned out to be almost 100% accurate. Even going back to March, if you've been watching this show. I was talking about meat shortages in March. And I also said we were going to have a wave of COVID, and then everybody was going to think, oh, it's over. It's summer. We're all going to reopen. And then whether you think it's real or not, I don't care, because I'm not an expert. I'm not an epidemiologist. But I said, come fall, guess what? It's going to be whatever it is, but we're going to be back in it. And it's going to be worse. And then we got an election coming up, and I've been talking about that too. What happened to the reworked videos from your 30-day challenge? They are not posted. They are not finished. And so whether that and how that happens, we're going to figure it out. I have all the footage, but the editing of it is going to be a massive. What we have not settled on, but we've kind of where we are right now is that we're going to do a documentary. And it's not just going to include the 30-day challenge. It's going to go all the way back to January. Me finding out about the movie and possibly being in the movie, starting the fitness challenge, and then COVID hitting, and then me doing the 30-day challenge during COVID. All of that leading up to what's going on now is very likely going to be a documentary. Do you think they will close down again? Absolutely, I think they will close down again. I think things are going to be worse, but I think a lot of it's going to be mitigated or challenged by the fact that we're almost certainly going to have election violence. Is the 30-day challenge for everyone to do? I'm not sure. You have to reword your question because I'm not sure what that means. Anybody can do a 30-day challenge anytime they want to. The 30-day challenge that I did was me living out on this farm, 40 acres by myself, taking care of everything in the heat without any help and not going to town for 30 days. That's what that 30-day challenge was. And so I'm probably going to do another one in October. I've been talking to, but if I do one in October, I don't want to do it by myself. So I am inviting other people. If they want to do a 30-day challenge in October, I'd be willing to do one. October or November. Well, October, the weather's great here, so it would be better than November. November's not bad. All right, if you guys have questions or comments or anything you want to talk about, make sure you put them in the comments section so I can read them and then I can answer your question. I'm kind of rocking back and forth and I'm stretching a little bit because I'm a little bit tight in my shoulders and my neck. I'm old. I'm 53 years old. You may not have known that. My beard gives it away. But I'm old and I'm working out every day and building muscle and it's hard. It's hard on a man. I do all kinds of accents and voices. You should ask about that sometime. So if you guys have questions and comments, we're at 37 minutes and 56 seconds. I can quit anytime. And I don't know what I'm going to do tonight. But I've been reading quite a bit. I've been showing. I've been reading the Isaac Newton book on prophecies of Daniel and Revelation. And then I bought a new book today. We were in a kind of an antique store, and they had a book which fit right into the Isaac Newton book. And it was a book called The First 3,000 Years of Civilization. And I'm really looking forward to reading it. This is going to fit right into it. Have you ever been approached to appear on a low? No. I've been approached to appear on half a dozen shows. We turned down some of them. We did pilot for some reality shows that were not picked up. And I did send an application to Alone because Alone is really the only show out there I would really like to do. And they have not contacted me. And I understand why. I don't know whether they would pick me or not. I respect the show. I think it's really one of the only real survival shows on television. And I know they're just now finishing out their 100-day, $1 million challenge, but I hope maybe they'll contact me someday. They would do real well to have me on the show. It would be popular, but they probably have people out there that go through and vet the candidates. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, all you have to do is a Google search and you'll find all kinds of things about me that couldn't possibly be true. But if they were, it'd be cool. I would be like a bandit. Anyways, those things are out there. And so people, maybe they put that stuff and they're like, this guy runs a cult? Even though I'm out here by myself, I couldn't even hit anybody with a rifle. Have you thought about putting a rocket mass heater onto the main house? Yes, that's why we built the rocket mass heater that we put in the barn, because it was a test of the I actually got into the mass rocket heaters when I was reading Russian literature. And that type of heater was pretty common in Russia, and not in the more advanced way they're built today. But the mass heater was very common in Russia in the 1800s, and during the time when most of the best Russian literature was written. And so I got into it, and we have every intention of building one in the main cottage, but we haven't done that. We haven't progressed that much, but we're about to start. So you could be seeing that coming up pretty soon. Do I have a preference on a grinder for meat? No, the real basic ones that you can find in any thrift store, just the hand crank ones, they're good, but it's a lot of work. And so if you can get one that you can either put a belt on it and run it off a motor. We don't have electricity up there, so we use a hand crank one. You can buy some good quality hand crank ones, but I really don't have a preference. You just have to kind of test them out and see which one works really well. We don't grind a lot of meat. We cube our meat and can it. A grinder for grain, I'm not going to be able to say it. My wife would know. We have a great grinder, and it's got a hand crank, and it also has a motor you can put on it. So if, like my Yeti 400, I could take it up there, and we could run the grinder for the grain. During the 30-day challenge, I filmed myself making bread, and it was from our own wheat, from our own crop, and I used that grinder. I just don't know the name of it. It's a very popular homesteading grinder that has a hand crank, and then you can put a motor on it. But I don't know the name of it. I used to know all that stuff, but It was a long time ago. All right, I'm here for you guys. If you got a question or comment or anything you want to talk about, I'm here for you. It can be about anything, really. Can you link the info on the heater to the show notes? There's no info except there's a YouTube. Go into YouTube as soon as we're done. I'll put a link on there. But if you just, as soon as this show's over, go into YouTube and put Michael Bunker mass rocket heater. There's a YouTube video of us making it. I don't think we showed the whole thing, and we didn't show it finished. But we built a mass rocket heater in our barn. And it was brilliant. And it still works. We just don't use it because the barn is not enclosed. Our original intention was to enclose the barn and use it as a workshop, and then we would have the mass rocket heater. We actually built the flue so that the flue passes through this large clay sofa, which is probably 10, 12 feet long. And then it circles back, and then it goes out, and it reburns the smoke. And so the smoke actually coming out of the barn is totally clear. It's just steam. Ramen noodles are a great source of carbs, and they're cheap. I have to tell you, I admitted this on Facebook the other day, but I've never had ramen noodles. So I can't tell you how good they are to eat, but they are carbs because they are noodles. And they are storable. They are cheap. I just don't know anything about them. Everybody in college, when I was in college, ate them, and I never did. It just wasn't. I was a very simple person, and I had a little crock pot, and I made a pot of beans, and it was the Forever beans, and I never cleaned the pot. I just actually, like, once the pot, and I was always eating the beans, and so when the pot got down to about that low, I just poured in more water, boiling water, and then I poured in more beans, and then I turned the crock pot on, and the next day I had more beans. I don't know how safe that is, and I've been known to give myself food poisoning. But, and then every once in a while I put some meat in there. So I was poor. That and a can of corn was a good meal for me. So I could eat it a week for $3 or $4. And I know that ramen noodles were cheap. I just never ate them. I put that on Facebook the other day. People were shocked. Said, you must never have been a struggling college student. I was a very struggling college student. I called them Forever beans because I never cleaned the pot. I never finished the pot. I just constantly added beans and water and recooked it. So it was almost like sourdough starter. And so, I'd have a pot of beans, and then I would eat it down. And when there was an inch left, I just poured boiling water in there and beans, and then turned the crock pot on and then let it cook. So I just called them Forever beans. All right, y'all, if you're out there, if you got a question or comment or anything you want to talk, this has been fun. I don't know if I'm going to have to download this video and edit out the first 2 minutes. I hate it when that happens. I had nothing to do with it this time. I don't know why I was muted. And it looks like the storm is gone. Hold on a second. I think we're out of it. Who knows what's going to happen tonight? This one came out of the blue. Yeah, it's south of here, so I think we're done. All right, everybody. Appreciate you guys being here, as always. Hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel. And if you can't subscribe because you're already subscribed, go get 10 people to subscribe and tell them how great it is and that they need to watch it. Tell them to watch the first 2 minutes where I'm just babbling on without the audio on. But most of the time, most of the videos are fantastic. Ever eaten black broth? I've eaten lots of broth, but I don't know what black broth is. Sounds ominous. But tell people to go ahead and subscribe to the show. We need 2,000 subscribers, and then we can move on. Hit the like button. Go to michaelbunker.com/fundraiser. We need money. Just leave it at that. We need money to keep doing this and do it as well as I want to do it. Get some equipment, do all kinds of good things. I don't eat blood. The Bible says don't eat it, so I don't eat it. Sorry if you do. It's up to you. I'm not judging. I'm just saying I don't. I don't eat blood. It's just not food. And so that's just it. Appreciate you guys. God bless you. I love you. And Lord willing, I'll see you again. If not tomorrow, maybe the next day. But I will see you when I see you.